Hello and welcome to another episode of Show Up with Sarah. Today it is just little old me, and I am discussing shame around decision making, not just in it, but post decision making. How sometimes we feel when we wake up in that post decision making haze and we realize that we made a wrong decision, and we feel really bad about it. Things like that, right? So, as a solopreneur, there are every single move with my business is my decision. And there are times where I have absolutely made a decision that later on I was like, that was not really the best decision for me or my business. And there have been times where in the midst of a decision, I'm like, my gut is saying that I should not go through with this, but yet logically it feels like maybe I should. And we've all been there where we make a decision. And I hate to say if someone makes the wrong decision, because what's the wrong decision today may, when you look back in 10 years, realize it was the right decision. And what may be the wrong decision to one person is the right decision to someone else, so I struggle to use the word wrong or right because they can be very objective depending on the lens that you're looking at them through. However, when you are making decisions and you realize that the decision that you made does not improve you or your life today or tomorrow or maybe a year from now, it's really easy to get into a place of shame around it. And the reason why you get into a place of shame is because you're going to 100% talk about the decision as I shouldn't have. And if you know anything about me and my coaching and this show and what I post, literally everything, you know that I am a very strong advocate of, you should eliminate the word should from your vocabulary, because it can be replaced with anything else. And should is a self-shaming statement. So whenever we as people who are choosing relationships, people who have money, people who have businesses, people who have careers, literally any person, whenever we make a decision and it does not pan out, we typically go, I shouldn't have done that, or I should have known better, X, Y, and Z. So let's take, for example, if someone makes a decision, they're going to invest in themselves, which is a great idea, and they decide to get a coach. And not me, because I would be a great investment but for this example, we're going to go with a coach that just sucks. And so they decide they have $2,000 to their name, and they decide that they are going to invest in a coach. The coach is $1,000, and they think, you know what, I'm going to do it because I'm believing in me. I'm investing in me, and I'm going to spend this money even though I really can't afford it. And then they do it, and then the coach just phones it in and doesn't show up for them, or worse, like the coach just doesn't provide the service that they said that they were going to. And 9 times out of 10, the person who paid the money is going to say, I shouldn't have spent that money. I shouldn't have spent money that I didn't have to really to begin with. I shouldn't have done that when my gut was saying to do something else. I should have paid attention to any red flags about that coach, X, Y, Z. So obviously that is just putting you in a complete shaming space. Now, when I talk about shame and decision making, you will always have a moment where when you realize that the decision you made was not the correct decision, you will have a moment where you go, F. And typically you're going to say, I shouldn't have done that. And that's okay. That's fine. It's normal. It's literally human nature. The problem is that a lot of people linger in that space. They meander around in a circle of self-shame and I'm not making good decisions and I don't know what to do next and everything. And I am a big believer. There are times where shame and what you're processing, you should linger there. You should meander in that space, because if you aren't sure of what you're feeling or why you're feeling it, then you do have to hang out there to be able to figure it out. You have to have the time to process for yourself and be like, why did I make that decision? Why do I feel bad about it? Why was it a poor decision? What can I learn from this? But why am I feeling these emotions? And if I'm not sure what emotions I'm feeling, what emotions am I feeling? Like, let's figure that out. Because if you don't know, then you can't do better. So there are times where lingering and meandering in a space at post decision is necessary and it's good. What I'm talking about is, I don't, that was a bad transition, but um when I talk about shame and when it's bad to linger there after a decision, what I'm saying is that a lot of people feel shame. They know why they feel the shame, they know how they could have done better, and then they keep shaming themselves for the decision that they made. The minute that you feel shame about something, you have learned. Like, you now know something that you didn't know before. If you don't know that using a specific word offends a group of people, and you use the word and someone says that's offensive and you feel shame, you learned. If you sit there and you go, wow, I'm so stupid, I always mess up, I'm so sorry, I feel so bad, I feel so bad, I feel so bad, now you're just shaming yourself and you are being inefficient and ineffective for yourself. You're now slowing your best self down. What you want to do is, the minute that you feel shame, you know what it comes from, you have now learned, I can do better. And then let it go. Too many people hold on to shame because they think that holding on to it is teaching them the lesson. You already learned the lesson when you felt shame. People who don't feel shame when they do something that is wrong and they know it's wrong, even though, again, I hate to use the word wrong, right, but there are some things that we all know are kind of wrong. If someone doesn't feel shame, then they they literally don't care, right? um or they have something that's wrong with them that means that they can't feel shame. Anybody else, the majority of us out here, the minute that you feel shame, you have now learned something. And what that means is that you can immediately let go of the shame of it. Okay, oh, I feel shame. Now I know that I don't want to use that word. And now I let go of beating myself up about it. And then I move forward. I just don't use that word anymore. That is a much more efficient use of your time. It's a much more efficient use of your energy. It is a much more efficient use of your knowledge and how you can apply it and how you can show up for the people that you offended, for yourself, and for the people that you are showing up in this world for. If you spend time shaming yourself nonstop, then you are actually taking yourself out of the game for anybody and anything that you are committed to or that you are passionate about or whatever your why is. You are not showing up for you because you are constantly showing up for the past self that made a mistake. That past self already learned, and it's actually in the past. You don't have to keep showing up for it. We think that if that learning a lesson equals spending time beating yourself up about it, and that there's a magical amount of time in there that is the appropriate amount of time to beating yourself up and then to move on. And I think that comes from the idea that when we are teaching kids right from wrong, we do things like timeouts. Like, you're going to sit and you're going to think about what you did. Now, that does not facilitate growth or learning. All it does is it makes a kid feel bad for a long period of time, but may not actually be helping them to understand what they should feel bad about. If a kid drops something that is really valuable to me, but it looks like a toy to them, and I go, yeah, I can't believe that you broke this. Go sit in the corner and think about what you did. All they know is that they should feel bad about breaking anything. Or what I'm telling them, that they should feel bad about breaking anything. The reality is that if I sit down with them and I say, hey, I know that this looks like a toy and perhaps I should have put it up higher, or I should have told you in advance, please don't touch this, but it was really important to me and that's why I'm upset. Do you understand why I'm sad? That kid is probably going to feel a pang of shame, right? And now they know, I feel bad because I broke something that mattered to this person. But when we tell a kid to go sit in the corner for 5 or 10 minutes, what we're doing is there's an amount of time that you should feel bad about what you did, even if we didn't process what you did being wrong and why. We have grown up with that. So now, as an adult, you make a bad decision. You spend $1,000 that you don't really have, that you couldn't afford to spend. Rent is due. You have $1,000 left in your bank account, and you are still sitting here 10 days later saying, I cannot believe I wasted $1,000 that I need. Like, what a bad decision I made. Instead, the second that that coach didn't deliver on their service, you get to say, oh, crap, I feel kind of like a dick because I made a bad decision. And I really need to be better with my finances. I want to place myself in a position where if this ever happens again, $1,000 isn't that big of a loss. Or I am much more aware of where my money should be going. Or I definitely am going to challenge myself to pay attention to any red flags with anybody that I choose to work with in the future, because I now know what it is if I make the wrong decision, how big that repercussion is for me. And I just can't afford to do that. You can feel that shame of like, oh crap, I can't believe I fell for that. And then immediately let go of that shame and then move the process forward. A lot of people just stay stuck in the post decision shame, and it just isn't helpful. It's not helpful to you. It's literally not helpful to anybody. There's no amount of time that you need to sit and feel bad about something if you have learned the lesson. Now, if you don't learn the lesson, you're going to repeat it and you're going to keep feeling that pang of shame every single time that you repeat it. And that's just you being ridiculous. And that's, no one can really help you with that. I mean, I can help you with that, but that's a you problem. If you want to keep learning the same lesson, that is definitely a you problem. However, if you are someone who wants to be efficient and productive and forward moving and able to achieve your vision, do not allow yourself to slow you and your vision down and push it off by any more time than it already is, by sitting in shame and shoulding yourself to death, because there should be an amount of time that it takes for you to figure this crap out, or for an amount of time for you to take to feel bad about the fact that you didn't figure this crap out. My bad. And so I encourage you, if you are, especially if you are in a position where you have to make decisions often and quickly, whether that's you as a parent or as a business owner or a high stakes employee, right? Whatever it is, decide today that every time you realize that was not the decision that was best for me, I know that specifically because shame crept up and I said, oh, I shouldn't have, right? I know that now. I let go of the shame. I take the lesson with me. I do better literally right now. Like, check yourself after you listen to this. Check yourself whenever you make your next decision and it doesn't pan out. How long do you sit with it? How long do you beat yourself up about it? Or do you have the capacity to say, okay, the only reason why I know is the wrong decision is because I feel kind of shame about it. I drop the shame, I pick up the lesson, I go. What is that turnaround? Because remind yourself at all times, when you are not doing a quick turnaround on that, you are pushing your best self, your top 10% self, your vision, all that stuff, you're pushing it further back. You're taking more time here and it's pushing everything else back. And you don't want to do that. So try that out. Pay attention to it this upcoming week and good luck.